One of the biggest issues that a woman will ever confront in her life is the issue of modesty, and whether she is looking to have the conversation or she is not looking to have the conversation. Very much so, she will have the conversation at some point in her life. And the conversation seems to have become one that truly frustrates women. And I think that this issue is very much like a pendulum that swings both ways. And in one hand, you have women who are embracing modesty in their mind, and they're embracing it by throwing anything and everything on, in some cases, in order just to be covered. And I think that in their mind, they feel that they are fulfilling this mitzvah. But this is not the case, in that when they are going about trying to fulfill this mitzvah in this way, they are not making an example to other women who may be struggling in this area to want to be a tsunua, because they feel that there's nothing beautiful about it. And sometimes we see that women on this side of the pendulum have kind of accepted the notion that all beauty is to be rejected. Whereas you have women on the flip side who, on the other side of the pendulum, have said, that's not for me. I want to be beautiful. I'm going to either show more than what is, past the line or right up to the line. And you see this also where either women are also trying to fulfill this mitzvah by putting on, these tight skirts, which technically are long, but they are quite revealing and provocative. Or you have women who are just saying, all of this is not for me, and I will do as I please, I will dress as I will. And I think that both sides of this pendulum have one thing in common, in that neither side has fully investigated what Shem has said as a requirement, what the sages have brought down as a requirement. And I think that somehow the narrative has become that Shem is not for beauty, and this could not be further from the case. And in fact, I think that it would really shock people to know what he does think about beauty and how much he does support it in its proper context when a woman is doing this to entice her husband. And in fact, we see that after Chava was formed, HaShem spoke over her not only to be a tsunua, but he kind of dollied her up before bringing her to Adam. And we see that this is not a one-time occurrence. And in fact, the Gemara and the Shulchan Aruch expound on the importance of a wife looking beautiful for her husband. And it goes on to say that Hashem granted a woman perfume and makeup to use in order to beautify herself for her husband. But I think what's even more interesting is that we see this a few more times, this topic of beauty, but that Hashem directly being involved with it. And we see this in the Midbar, when Hashem, together with the manna, sent perfume to the women. And Rashi also explains that this was used to endear themselves to their husband and not to others. But I think even one of the most beautiful things that Hashem has said on this subject is when they were making the Mishkan. And in the making of the Mishkan, the women wanted to give Moshe Rabbeinu their precious mirrors, which they had used to beautify themselves. And Moshe Rabbeinu at first not wanting to take them, and HaShem says to accept them, and that they were the most endearing objects because they had been used to beautify themselves for their husbands, and in doing so was able to continue Am Israel. They were able to procreate, and they were able to lift up their husband's spirit by using their beauty in the way that Hashem has ordained for it to be used. But I think, again, when we are not aware of what is really expected and required, I find that this becomes a very dangerous place to be, because when we don't really know what's expected of us, then it leaves room for the Yetzirah to come in and have his way with us. You can follow this series, A Woman's Worth by Devorah Esther, on YouTube at Gimel Dalet 777. Click subscribe to be notified. If you've enjoyed this video or know someone who would, please share it. Tzikku limitzvot.